Welcome to Dark Matters, where the veil drops and fiction faces the living. Today I'm joined by Robin Hood, a man who doesn't theorise the law, he lives it. So we're cutting straight to the roots: constitutional law, legal fictions, and the machinery of illusion that has been sold to us as justice. We're going to break down the real and the unreal, the living and the dead, from the fake jurisdictions of corporate courts, because nothing about the system is what it seems, as we are finding out. The police, fiction; the courts, fiction; Parliament at the side. But there is remedy, and it lives in truth, action and lawful standing. So let's get into it. Robin Hood, you're here with an update for us. Where are we up to?
Well, what I'm going to be doing, and it's not a deliberate call out of people on this one, but I've got grave concerns, shall we say, over certain people that are stating stupid things now. Like, somebody keeps stating that the Magna Carta doesn't exist. It's out of time, it's out of date. Well, it's not. The Magna Carta is basically a perpetual document forever. It actually states on the document itself that it is in perpetuity forever. That is in Article 1. Can't be removed, can't be repealed. Parliament does not have the authority to repeal inalienable rights. They are above Parliament. They are our protections against arbitrary Parliament authority. Okay? That's why we have checks and balances. Okay? Parliament has breached all of them. They have got rid of the Separation of Powers Act. Can't do that, that's treason. They have become a franchise incorporated business, and that was done in 1707, believe it or not. So yeah, they would have us believe.
Yeah.
Now, load of nonsense. They went into the inalienable documents and started to fiddle about with them. They did it in 1888, and they did it again in 1948. Right? And decided that they could remove our rights. Well, no, you can't, Parliament. And Parliament, you are now in two jurisdictions in one state. You are in two states in one jurisdiction. Therefore, you have breached the law. You cannot be a corporation and a public body. So this is what they've done. They've got rid of the imperial crown, your crown, my crown, the highest crown in England. It's not that bauble that sits on the liege lord's head that he has to rent from the inner city of London. It is our crown, our consent to be governed. They did not have sovereignty in 1689 when Parliament was formed. They took it by legislation in 1707, said in the documents, by the Act of Union. So Parliament's statement that it has sovereignty is a lie. It's deceit, it's fraud.
Yeah.
All their acts and statutes from 1707 are void.
Yeah. And
because they were done as a corporation.
Yeah, and it's if we can get that knowledge out, isn't it? Like, to everybody, really. Because the nonsense that they're coming up with in Parliament now is obviously, it's so treasonous.
Well, it's been treason since 1707. They've literally give themselves authority to convert the men of the land, and I know that sounds stupid, but it says no free man of the law of the land, not freeman of the land, because that's an Aborigine, right?
Yeah.
So we are all free men and women. Okay? That's what we are. No ifs, no buts, that's what we are. So what they've done now, and to get at our sovereignty, is they've removed it slowly but surely by transferring us into corporate vessels by acts of statute, which is an illegal conversion. Right? You cannot do it. Look at Archibald 2025. Okay, it tells you there's international treaty law that says you can't do it. They violated every treaty, including the Geneva Conventions, right? This is why they're now smashing your doors in at will, taking your property, because they have now registered you through the Isle of Man, right? And we've got the documentation. It's there in section S790LQ. All persons are now companies. Let that sink in for a minute. So now have they not only by fraud by your birth certificate, which is nothing more than a corporation registration of a vessel by the cut, so they've now illegally cut you from your placenta with all this, oh, it's bad for you, it's it's not good, it'll get infected. It's supposed to stay on the baby for up to 7 days.
Yeah.
Right? And it's supposed to then just drop off, just like the cord, the umbilical cord that's still attached after the cut. Yeah? And it's absolutely disgusting. That's an assault on a baby. Right? And what that's to do is, and I've just done a recent podcast with Victoria, who was very articulate in the way that the process in the hospital works. Yeah. And basically the baby's born, that's given in a live birth notification form, which is then whisked off the next day. No parent ever sees it, and you can't get hold of it. Right?
Yeah.
You are then forced to register the placenta, not the baby. Okay? Because what happens at the hospital, as Victoria stated, is that you've got, and this is what's really bad, they then register or record the baby's birth and everything else, put everything in. The computer will not allow you, the midwife, to move forward until the placenta is then time of birth. What? Now they're telling us it's clinical waste. It's going to be incinerated. So why do they sell it? Okay. They then tell us they weigh it, they measure it, they make sure it's got all this, that, and the other that it should have, that it's not deformed, it's not what have you. And it then goes into what is supposed to be clinical waste, to be burnt, destroyed, whatever. Now we find out that's not a lie, they sell it. Right? And it's absolutely disgraceful. So not only is it theft, it's fraud. Yeah. Because it belongs to us. It's not theirs just to take. And then once they've done all that, they then put in the second part, which is the placenta, which is then all the other bits that go in, and then it generates you a hospital number, an NHS number. Right? And then that goes off. And then 40 days later, you are threatened to go fill in the registration of the vessel, the placenta, because now it's died. It actually lives between 5 and 7 days after birth. And this is what they call your administrative twin. Right? I mean, how ridiculous is this? But because it's got your blood, because it's got your DNA, yeah, that's what they're chasing. That's what they're after. Right? So all of this is now literally no good to you. No good to you whatsoever, because now they've given you a last name. Because the problem that we've got is this. Your mum and dad pick your first name. The state has already given you your surname.
Yeah.
And you don't name your placenta. It's already named. Yeah. It's already named. It's called the placenta, the tree of life. Right? Because once that connects to you, It then acts as everything to you. It acts as your mother, father, feeder, breather, lungs, you name it. That's why they call it the tree of life. Because it gives you life. It gives you blood. It gives you oxygen. It allows you to grow natural. Right? Without that, we would wither and die. Simple as that. Now, what these gits do is they then use that as an administrative personam. Right? So what they've done over the years now, from 1707, Shipwrecks Act, washed up on the shore, everything, it's ridiculous. You've now got the Inland Waterways Act, the Road Traffic Acts, 1962, traffic flows. It's all about putting you on the water as the vessel. They keep saying, no. It's a different thing. It's a different thing. Acts and statutes are not law.
Yeah. Exactly.
We have had no genuine king since 1702. The elites placed foreign agents into the Act of Royalty. And these were done by the Vatican. Because the Act of Union was never given royal assent. It was never given the people's sovereignty consent. Ever. And after the Bill of Rights, that's what they needed. But what we've all forgotten is this. We are in now 2025, so we believe. Well, no, it's not. Add another month on at least, okay? Because you're under the Gregorian calendar. We're under the Julian calendar, which is the 13 months God-created cycle of the universe. All right? There's 13 months in a year. Because there's 13 moons.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we all know that stuff. There's also the fact that what these people do then is over the years, they've literally moved us sideways to get us off the land, which means we no longer have the rights of the Constitution. Today, there is no constitutional courts. There is no imperial crown courts. Parliament does not run from the imperial crown. So this is what I'm going to tell everybody now. The Magna Carta, 1215, 1297, 13 whatever, are all still in force. Because the one thing they state is it is in perpetuity for all time. The only thing they don't say is perpetual. Okay? Because perpetual means that when my great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather was born and he had children, it moved to them. When they had children, it moved to them. So it's perpetual in its protection. And it states it for all our heirs. Right? For all our heirs. That's it. Doesn't need to say any more. The Coronation Oath Act states in there. Forever. It is a perpetuity forever document. It cannot be changed. Parliament does not have the authority to change it. So what they've cleverly done is they've now said that articles are acts, and they can remove at will all acts and statutes and repeal them. Well, okay. Yeah, you can, as long as we agree.
Yeah.
And we agree that you have the right to do whatever you want. Well, we don't. Your sovereignty is now in question. And not only is it in question, that you now have to prove that you have it and that you've got it legitimately, not by legislating yourself in fraud. Fraud vitiates everything. It unravels everything. If you were not granted the people's sovereignty, you cannot have it.
And all, it's just fear and force, isn't it? It's just our gang's bigger than your gang, and we'll just make shit up and get our mates to agree. That's basically where we're up to, isn't it, really?
Yeah,
Like you
it's
say,
basically their house
surname,
of lies is falling down.
yeah,
People,
the surname is,
we are lucky in this generation, and let me tell you why. Because 98% of the people in 1707, 96% of the people could not read or write. Right? Couldn't do it. They couldn't do it in 1800s either. Right? It was getting bigger, but you were up to probably 90, 85, 90% of the people could not read or write and still did not understand acts and statutes. Okay? But they knew the constitutional rights of their sovereignty and that they needed to be in front of a judge that was independent, that was under the correct oath as to the promissory oath, under his bonds of insurance and jurisdiction, because that's what a bond is. It's not just an insurance certificate. It is simply, I have the right to be in this court in this jurisdiction. Right? And if I've done wrong, you can now claim against my bond. In the old days, it were 5 claims of wrongdoing, and then a judge was banged out. Now they're all under affirmations, which is a breach of law. As to the 1701 Securities and Successions Act, if you are under an affirmation, it's treason. Simple as that. You are sworn to a foreign state, company, or corporation. Right? It makes no difference what you declare you are. It makes no difference to whatever you want to claim. You are in treason. No ifs, no buts. Because you have to swear a correct oath to the people, not the king. The king is nothing more than an office. Parliament is nothing more than an office. Therefore, how does it hold sovereignty? Right? Keir Starmer is in charge as Sir Keir Starmer, corporate sir, in a ship. He's the captain of the ship, the corporation, the franchise. Because we are all now being run by the United Kingdom Corporation, Great Britain Corporation, the Transatlantic Corporation and UK Corporation. It's ridiculous. This is why they think they can smash your houses in, because you have been registered, your name, all caps fiction, has now been registered to the Isle of Man offshore account to their company's house in fraud.
mm-hmm.
Right? And it states it. We've got the documentation, we've got everything. We've got the 2006 Companies Act, S790, LQ, LN, LR, LS, LN, and you name it, it's all there. Just Google it. Right? We've then got a state of affairs now where you are a person of significant control of this corporation or trust without you even knowing it. So now they've fetched in laws, rules that you, as PSC, are fully liable and all your assets are now on the line. Your house, your car, everything.
Yeah.
Right? So this is why the police can do whatever they want. They're official treasonous in the act of terrorism, in the act of slavery, illegal conversion, fraud, deception, betrayal, high treason, uttering. All their documents have a black stamp. It is the Admiralty doctrine. All these courts and judges must have a signed signature from the Admiralty to conduct this court in illegal conversion over the man. And I can assure you the Admiralty will not do that. Right? But who's head of the Admiralty?
Is it Charles?
Charles.
Yeah.
All roads lead to Charles, the illegal conversion artist. He's not the king, he's the liege lord.
Yeah.
Right? Head of state, corporate state. Everything that you see with UK on it is not the United Kingdom. It is the United Kingdom Corporation. The landmass is untouched. But what they've done is by putting us all into corporations in fraud, we now can claim directly from Charles and the Crown Office and the Chief Registrar.
Yeah.
Every judge is now in the act of treason. Every judge. There's not one under their oath. Every police officer is now in treason. As to the 1351 Treason Act, levelling war against the king or crown of the sovereign people is an act of war. Giving aid to any corporation or domestic alliance to an invading force is treason. They now are the invading force.
Yeah.
There is no police officer in this land. None. They are all corporate admiralty fictions, chasing prize vessels, me and you, by illegal conversion in fraud.
Yes.
And it also comes under disobedience to constitutional statutes, still in force. This is why when you go in and mention Halsbury's book, Blackstone's, Stokes, Archibald's, they all go, oh, they don't count in this court. Well, they don't, because it's an admiralty court without jurisdiction, running roughshod over the corporation that you don't know you are or have.
It's a
So
sick,
that they
it's a
can
sick puppy,
access-
isn't it? It's a sick game.
It's sick as they come. So now they claim that you don't own anything. That you, the PSC of the corporation, and your house, your car, your everything belongs to them. Because they've loaned it. We've made a loan from the UK corporation. Well, no, we didn't. Because the fiction did. Because by their black magic devil's handbook, illegally converted us. So the man signs for the debt and gets the money, the fiat currency of no value. When does it ever hit your account? It doesn't. It goes straight back into their pockets. All of it. Every company in England, the UK, right, is nothing more than a franchise corporation of the governments. The UK, Great Britain. This is why they can put up the bills to 78%.
Yeah.
Right? Tax 78%. Only corporations pay fucking VAT, excuse my French. So why have they put 5% on your food, 5% on your gas bill, your electric bill? It's there in front of you. Right? The tax. We don't pay taxes. Corporations pay taxes. Men don't. But this is how they've cleverly tricked us. And now said, oh, no, you're under a statute. You're under statute. No, we're not under statutes, Parliament. You are not judge, jury, executioner. Not a prayer in this world. Because that's what the Separation of Powers Act was. The judges were independent and they could overrule Parliament and go, no. They've now lost that ability.
None of that's happening. Yeah.
Nope. They're all in league with it all.
Yeah.
Right? You have the House of Commons, which they're trying to get away with and do away with. Right? The House of Commons is ours. It's for the commoners. So what they've done with it, filled it with ex-politicians from each side of the house. That was never meant to be. It was the lords of us, the lords of the people that were in that house, not their riffraff that they've got kicked out, disgraced, politicians that are looking for an easy time and some correct.
Exactly. And I think that's the thing, we've said it before on other podcasts, haven't we? He who creates owns. We created government, not the other way around. But we're not keeping them to we've not kept them to any checks and balances, have we? We've been so dumbed down, and we've been, literally programmed to kind of just accept this as the way that it is. But it's, if we don't unravel this puzzle and make them accountable, like right up to the level, like you say, of high treason, then, they'll continue to do it.
It's shocking at what they're at. And the problem that it's not a problem, because we just now write to the Chief Registrar in England, the Companies House Registrar in England, the Chief Registrar in the Isle of Man, and said, what the hell do you think you're doing? We're now bringing charges against you unless you supply these details. We want to know who's created these companies in my name, in the all caps fiction. What is available in those companies, in those trusts? Because if they've been created from my twin, I'm now claiming them as the next of kin.
Well, and the ritual of the birthday, like placenta, comes from the Greek placunta, which means cake. So that's how dark it is. They even get us to celebrate our separation from the tree of life, and we do it every year and mark the passing of time.
Some of us do, and some of us don't. I've never celebrated a birthday. To be fair, I've never celebrated a birthday. I hate birthdays. Hate them with a passion. Always have done.
I like the gifts. I'm not going to lie, but
right, always have done.
And like you say, with the Commons, like you say, the common people, the common, the House of Commons, it's been, like you say, it's been usurped. It's so insidious. The corruption. Yep. And like you say, we would have spoken with tongue, because, like you say, back in the past, most people were illiterate. And again, this is how they've kind of got away with it. But the law would have been, like we've said, LORE. It would have been spoken. I mean, I did a talk called "The Law of the Law," because obviously the land, air, and water is, as you say, Robin, it's theirs, isn't it?
Yeah, it's law. Like I've said before and on other podcasts, if I thought you stole 10 chickens off me, Carly, I would accuse you of stealing 10 chickens off me, right? We would then meet on the commons, not neutral ground, yeah? All the villagers would be there. Now, all the villagers would be there, and a court du jour would take place, right? Because it's the spoken word, and the people that knew us best would then be the jury to know whether we could commit such a crime. Right? And they would pass judgment. And they would order that you would pay me 10 chickens, or I would pay you a 5 for slandering you. Right? It was that simple. There was no anything else. But what they've done is, and that is the unwritten law, right? The Constitution. So what they did very cleverly, these scholars elites, the church, that could read and write, did the one at the side of us, LAW. They written it down and made it acts and statutes, and it could only be agreed into law if we agreed it.
Yeah.
And what they've hated ever since 1688, 1689, is they all lost power. Parliament lost power. The king lost power. It was granted lock, stock and barrel back to the people. We took all the power, everything. We controlled the law. That's why it says in the Constitution, the parliamentarians and the office of king can only work for the betterment of the people. And all they've done is usurped it. They've altered it and subverted it. It also states in the Constitution, if you alter or subvert the Constitution, you are guilty of treason. Cannot be done. So therefore, if you remove paragraphs, words, meanings, you're guilty of treason, and it's high treason.
And like you say, Robert, it's just that twisting of the language. It's been subtle, so that we've kind of, it's been eroded, hasn't it, over time, like you said. Just shifting the language and because it's not Magna Carta, is it? It was the Magna Carta. Just small things like where
it was the Charter of Liberty. It's the great Charter of England. It is the Great Charter of Liberty. That is what the other word for the Magna Carta is. So that's where the sort of I believe that the confusion comes in, because it's called the Great Charter of Liberty. You cannot remove the Charter of Liberty. You cannot remove the Foresters Charter, right? But they've done it because we've allowed them, because they've kept us spinning like idiots, going to work, paying for stuff, and we never own it.
Yeah.
Who gets the white paper of your brand new car? The government get it.
They do.
Hang on a minute, I've just bought it. It's mine, it belongs to me. It ain't going to the fucking government. Oh, no, their acts say, but they can fuck off with their acts. Their acts do not apply to me. I am the sovereign. I am the man of God. You can take a walk on the wild side. Parliament has no jurisdiction. It is told what to do by the people. But what they've done is they've extended certain things. Like another act, you can only have 3 years in power. Then it went to 4. Now it's gone to 5. There will be no votes shortly, because you're all quasims. This is what they've turned you into, which is a corporate fiction, a dead entity. You have no rights, none.
Yeah.
And this is what people have got to get their heads round very, very quickly. When you go into a court of admiralty, because there is not one court of law available.
Yeah.
What you've got to do is go straight in. Don't think so. Here you go. There's your what is it? We've asked for your bond. We've asked for your oath. You've not supplied them because you are under an admiralty jurisdiction. Therefore, you have now attempted to illegally convert me into a quasim and remove my constitutional rights. Parliament is sunk. The judiciary is sunk.
Yeah.
And what these people have got to realise is, once Parliament and these corrupt evil get their way, you're next, pal. Because they can only squeeze us for so long. And we're at breaking point now.
Yeah.
Yeah, over 1 million people turned up on that silly march for you know who. And I just think it was a very silly march, because it gave the game away. Instead, what we ought to be doing is getting 1 million people to march upon every police station, arrest every police officer, every judge, every councillor, every politician, and arrest them, and then charge them with their crimes. All the way down to London.
Exactly. Right? Like we've talked about this, haven't we? The protesting, as much as it's great in one way to see something happening, they're armed with the wrong information. And like you said, to protest means to accept the terms of the condition yet be unhappy about it. Slaves protest. That's not how we really change. That's not how we change it. Nope. That's just a fact. And when I see it, my heart sinks a bit. But and then people go, "Well, Carly, it's great." Well, it's not, because it's rudderless. It's if
not only that, it's emptying people's pockets. How many people spent? Exactly. You know what I mean? How many people spent a fortune going to London and walking around, buying food, taking food, whatever you did? But we're all on a fucking budget. We're all struggling. But we all committed and went down there and did what? We walked about on a Sunday afternoon in the sunshine, shaking hands and having a laugh. Well, boo-hoo for you, you lunatics. How about doing something creative? How about we all get together and we issue the constitutional document straight to the House of Commons? You now will issue by de jure, by right in law, that Parliament is removed. How about that for a Sunday morning, just a quick knock up and I'll stamp and sign this fucking letter? Parliament is removed by constitutional authority of the people, by subverting the constitutional crown, the imperial crown, the living crown of every man and woman. for the crimes of the 1972-1973 Communities Act entering into Europe. Then they lied about it in Treason again in 74. And they then convinced us to take a vote in 75 to say, no sovereignty will be lost. No, it won't affect anything. Knowing full well that they'd signed sovereignty, our sovereignty, not theirs, over to Europe. Parliament's sovereignty. Right?
Yeah.
And then they've done everything in their power to keep us under corporate rule, because that's what it meant when we went into Europe. They were allowed to convert us into corporations, just like every European is already under the Vatican papal bull. They're already corporates. That's why they don't have any rights. That's why we're not getting any rights. This is why they're coming heavy-handed. This is why, but they're now starting to crack. And when this opens, once they start getting the treason indictments and the call up to the higher courts, the international treaty courts, it's over, because the government cannot stand it. If we do this as one, it's done. They took 3.4 million votes and shut the vote down, because if that had gone to 4 million, they would have had to be removed. It would have given them a constitutional nightmare that they could not argue from. That's why they removed it at 3.1 million, I think.
Yeah.
And it still went to 3.4.
And they pulled it.
And literally it was pulled at 3.1. But people were still trying to vote on it. And what happened? A back room in some dingy little office with 20 people there. Oh, no. You slaves can't have a vote to dismiss us, your betters. Who do you think you are? Do us a favour, pal. You'll find out who we are when we're hanging you for treason. And high treason against the people, against the imperial crown authority, which all authority flows from, because without our agreement, they do not have the authority to do anything. And by being under an affirmation to a foreign state corporation, you're in treason. It's as simple as that. And now they've illegally converted us. That's even worse. That's even more shocking.
And do you want to kind of tell people kind of where you're up to with that in the Royal Courts of Justice, etc., and the processes?
Well, we've just caught we've just caught the High Courts, the Equity and Common Law Division. We've been issuing all the void orders. We've got the correct department. It's Room 16E, Foreign Processing Department. I mean, the name's in the clue. I mean, my God. Foreign Processing Department. We've been taken to
they're always telling you the clue's always in the title all the time.
Right.
You know?
And now the judges will not void the orders. Because they daren't. Because now that snookers so we've now sent them to the Supreme Court. Because the Supreme Court now must void the orders. By de jure, by right, by my authority, you will void this order. Because if you're under Admiralty law, you've got no consent over me whatsoever. None. I am not a corporate vessel. I'm not incorporated. But you go into a judge, and we've had this now from 2 judges.
Yeah.
Right? They have told us that if we go in there with the freeman of the land, sovereignty nonsense, we're going to get it. Twice as hard, maximum sentence, Right? They've been told to do this. Right? So we're basically telling them now to go fuck themselves. You've no jurisdiction, we're coming after you. The next thing and this is God's honest truth now, we know now full-blown what they've done. It's now up to you people, not me. I'm just the investigator that's done it, with a few others. And we're still investigating into some of this stuff, right? Because it's ridiculous. They've used their acts and statutes to give themselves authority, remove our authority, and then convince us that we are persons, not people, that we are the public, that we are person in personam with their corporate identity. All driving licenses used to say driver's license. Now it says driving license. Right? Well, I didn't pass a safety test to be classed as a driving license. They've taken the driver away from it. It's now theirs. It's theirs. So we now demand that we want our driver license back, because it's the driver of the vehicle, not the driving, because now you're incorporated. It's all about words. Everything that's on your driving license is what? The UK corporation. Doesn't say England, does it? It says UK corporation. All caps legal fiction. Your passport. Here you go. Take this with you. To pass a port. The name and the clue are right there.
That's it. Like I was saying, it always is. It always is the language.
So we now want a travel permit, right? English, not British. We're not British, we're English. We're not Roman. Britannia died years ago. It got conquered. We beat Rome back to Rome.
Yeah.
Right? We are the people, end of. They do not call the inner city of London the New Jerusalem for nothing. What was Jerusalem? Yeah. It was the devil's workshop for money, for lending. The inner city of London has been given privileges. By who? By the puppets they put into power. What does it say in our Magna Cartas, our Bill of Rights, anything? No foreign prince or princess may sit on the throne of England. Oh, yeah.
And we've got the Saxburg, what are they called? Saxburg, Gothic, Coburg, blah, 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 whatever they're called.
Yeah, right. So, hang on a minute. And if you look at their heritage, German, Dutch, Belgium. That's not very English, is it?
Not really.
Put into power again by the elites of the inner city of London to ensure that their will was overthrown all of us. So their will was thrown all over us, and we would accept it. It's taken them 300 years this time. They tried again in 1835. Look it up. It's called the Municipals Act. They privatised everything. They were literally pulling councillors, police officers, and hanging them on street corners because they would not take it. Now, have we got such a woke system today that naughty words are going to hurt me and I dare go out and I dare do this, I dare do that? Well, I'm going to live on my feet, not on my fucking knees. I am sick of this shit show. I am sick of children going hungry, being passed about like they're fucking sweeties at a banquet and being raped and pillaged. I'm absolutely sick to the back teeth of public inquiries being done by the same scumbags who lie, who cheat the system, by de facto courts. And do you know what de facto means? It doesn't mean fake. It means what was in practice. So because they breached the rules, the court will only go on the breached rules, not the rules of law, not the rules and the policies that should have been upheld. That's why it's called a de facto court. because it will only show you and only work within the practices, good or bad, that were in play. So normally you should go A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, and the rest of it. But what's happening within the NHS, for example? What's happening within the police? What's happening within the courts? We're going to go for A. We're then going to go to E. We're then going to go to M. We're then going to go to P, Q, X, Y, Z. And you're stuffed. Right? We're going to move you around the board so you don't know what jurisdiction we're playing in. Is it you, the corporation, they're taking to court as the quasim, all caps legal fiction? Is it the man? Has the man lost his complete status because of the illegal conversion into a corporation? Right? The judges are up to their neck in it. The police force are now up to their neck in it. All the senior officers know exactly what they're doing, and the lads on the ground and lasses on the ground are learning. They're learning the hard way. Because I can tell you now, it'll be you people on the ground that's going to get it. Right? Simple as that. People have had enough of you turning up in 8s and 9s to terrorise women. It's coming to an end. Your actions of terror are over. And let me tell you why I call it terror. Look up 2015, the Terrorism Act. Article 1. It's a political agenda. We are being forced to submit our natural sovereignty, our natural lives to become incorporated, indoctrinated into a political agenda by terror, by force.
Yeah.
This is why the TA was abolished. Territorial Army has all but gone. And the police force now are acting as the army on land. Because now you have to declare yourself as a non-combatant. Therefore, you are not a corporation. You are not at war. Get off my private property. Let's everybody start returning your registration plates, your ZIM numbers. Let's get them gone. Because that's the only thing they own. We demand all our white papers back. We won't have insurance, because insurance is a con. Look at how much insurance has gone up. What's happening to all our money that's going into these insurance companies? It's being paid out to the United Kingdom Corporation. You don't go on there and get a deal on insurance company. Don't be daft. They're under license so that they can provide you what the corporation states. Same as electricity, same as gas, same as water. They're all under fraudulent license because it's our systems. We never agreed to give Parliament permission to enter into a contract with private corporations to sell our natural resources. They're ours. And when we left the gold market, what did we become? The creditors. All of a sudden, they've converted us, the creditor, into the quasim debtor, the fiction. So now we own the state instead of the state paying us. We should now be demanding our dividends from the state. Oh, wait till they start getting these. We want our dividends. You owe us 2 trillion.
Wow.
You borrowed that money from us, not international banks. You borrowed it on the back of us. So we want the dividends because the banks only print the fiat currency. It has no value unless we give it value. People have forgotten who we are. The Banking Act of 2008 was a con. The banking crash was to cover several crimes up, so that the banks could take houses back. Ian Clifford has just stated it. He was one of the top guys in the banking world, unbeknownst to me. But he's literally come out now and give you the full SP on a couple of podcasts and stuff. And he said, they went up to him and said, this is what we're going to do. We're going to fudge all the documentation. We're now going to create an housing crash in 2008 that we can take people's property because we don't have the collateral to back up the money. 2008 came, wallop. Everybody got repossessed.
Motherfuckers, aren't they?
And he said it open and straightforward. This is what they're doing. So we've got to get rid of their fiat currency and bring back our own money. Demand all our gold back because it was stolen in fraud. It was never sold. Still got it. It has been used and abused against us. We need to back ourselves against this corporate fiction. It is a dead entity. We need to be putting in £100 million claims against the United Kingdom company and to the Crown Office and to Charles III. He is basically running the show. Don't care what anybody says. He's got backers. Yeah, they're looking at the Vatican. They're looking at this way. They're looking at that way. End of the day, who do we call the head of state? Charlie boy.
Yeah.
Who are all of these sworn to? The liege lord under an affirmation. Who's the liege lord? Charlie boy. What does liege lord mean? Men that are sworn to him under an affirmation. Therefore, he's now removed the imperial crown. HMCTS does not mean His Royal Majesty, like it used to be, or Her Royal Majesty. Not anymore. Why is the Crown Prosecution Service in bankruptcy? It's insolvent. Has been since the 1st of August 2024. But yet it's still supposedly prosecuting people. How? How? Look it up. It's there as a company. Limited company since 1833. Right? We are now supposed to be borrowing money from the United Kingdom Corporation, Charlie boy. The banks don't lend money anymore. That's already been established by the Bank of England. Q1 report, open publication. It is fully recognised that the money is plucked and printed out of thin air. So if it's not being lent by the banks, why are we all paying interest? Why? So therefore the mortgage is fraud. Why are we allowing the banks to sell the promissory note as an SPV? Once the two documents are separated, it becomes then an unsecured loan. So why are we allowing them to take people's houses? Why? Why are we allowing these scumbag companies that are licensed to franchise to charge us 78% plus 5% tax on gas and electric? So my argument now is, right then, here you go, Mr. Electric Provider, Mr. Gas Provider. It is now become aware that you are now treating me as a corporation. Therefore, I will not be paying VAT and I will not be paying tax because men don't have to pay tax. We're not interested what Acts and Parliament say, because Parliament's dissolved. Because by de jure, by right, by law, we command it.
Yeah.
It's gone.
Well, that's it. They've taken everything from us, asset stripped us to death, and sold it back to us.
You
in
cannot sell. You cannot sell a public asset. You cannot sell a public asset without the will of the people. What are they doing? They're selling police stations, land, public buildings. Where's all the money going? You cannot make us poorer. You cannot make England poorer. But you can do it as a corporation. And that's how we know they're a corporation now. Because the councils have what? North Lincolnshire Council has 62 DUNS numbers. Every building is under a different DUNS number. It even has an international number with 10 other councils as a, what is it called? Something one. 10 councils under one authority. What a load of nonsense. I didn't vote for that corporation. I didn't vote for that corporation. I didn't vote at all because you don't have the right to vote. Because you, as a quasim, the all caps legal fiction, cannot vote. When will people wake up to this simple fact? You bunch of numpties, they've converted you lock, stock and barrel into a trust vessel, corporate vessel, under Admiralty law. There is no more justice. None. Come on, guys, 175 million. This is what they've openly declared at the Civil National Business Centre, doubling down as a court. Get out of here. And you mugs are still paying it. Tell them to fuck off. National Business Centre. When have you done business with a business centre? Show me the contract. Show me who you are dealing with. Are you dealing with the man or the corporation? Because I'm nothing to do with the corporation. I'm not the PSC, person of significant control. Your error now is an administrative maladministration, misfeasance in public office. Because you're not in public office. There's no judge in public office. They can't be. They're all bar guild. No bar guild judge can be allowed to sit in public office. So what does that make Starmer? He cannot sit in public office. He cannot be Prime Minister. Why? Because he's registered to the bar. Nor can Tony Blair. Where's Tony Blair hiding these days? He's a officer of the inner city of London. Foreign state corporate. We've been had hook, line and sinker by this vile corporation. And it's that simple, ladies and gentlemen. We've been bent over and given the royal twist. No other way to put it. None. And it's about time that we all now stop dicking about, arguing about, oh, we're going to set up a micronation and we're going to do this and we're going to do that and we're going to do other and we're going to get out of all this. You dickheads, you're already contracted into it by your birth certificate. What does it say on your birth certificate? Do not use this as identification. What do you idiots do? When the state demands that you send them your birth certificate for identification, for your driving licence, you send them it. Change your fucking name. Change your surname. Because that's the corporate name. That's the all caps fiction. Change it. It tells you on the birth certificate it is copyrighted to the Crown and belongs to them.
Yeah. Awesome.
Right? Let's stop seriously, let's stop messing about. We have to get rid of this crapshoot And the easiest way to do it now is remove sovereignty from Parliament, declare them void, and tell them that they never had sovereignty. Never. Any politician that says, oh, yes, we do, tell them to look up the Unions Act, 1707. It states there it was legislated when nobody could read or write, and it was never disclosed to the people. You would have never got it, ever. We don't want you to have it now. Never mind in 1700 when we just kicked your ass in the glorious revolution to take control of our power, to be free from arbitrary authority of king or parliament. Parliament was only set up for the people. It was the people's office to conduct business of state with foreign states, not England. We had our own public councils for that. Not politician bred idiots, middle class, upper middle class, swan divers in office to steal our wealth. It's shocking, but we've allowed it. So we've now got to put it right for our children. We've got to learn them the power of our inalienable rights. We've got to restore every document in full and remove any politician who does not back it up. We will charge every judge with treason. Every judge with treason. Illegal conversion, fraud, deception, theft, forced arbitrary authority through admiralty doctrine against the man of the land, against the man of the lord of the land, the free man of the realm of England, not Great Britain. I have no interest in the United Kingdom and I have no interest in Great Britain. None. They are foreign state corporations here to rape, pillage everything we own. We do not get benefits. We get entitlements. We are paid into this system to ensure that at the end of the day, we have got our pensions, not for the government to rape our pension system and then give us nothing. You pay 40 years in, but you're only allowed to take 30 years out. Well, I'll tell you what, then give us a nod when I've done 30 years because I ain't paying another fucking penny. Oh, and oh, by the way, I want all my taxes back because that's been maladministration, taken in error by your deception.
Yeah.
Right? This is where we've got to start going, ladies and gentlemen. It's that easy now. We now write to the House of Commons saying that we're now demanding by de jure, because that means writing law, that they're removed. All judges are removed. They're bar guilt. It's a breach of the Monopolies Act 1623. It's a monopoly on justice. You can't have solicitors, barristers and judges all part of the same club. I mean, fucking hell, come on, people, wake up, shake your heads.
Yeah.
Registering to give your property away and leave it for the state to use as collateral. Get away with you. When did we agree that nonsense?
Yeah.
But that's what they're doing. Right? This is where we're at. This is why that Klaus Schwab said, you will have nothing and be happy. We've already got nothing. They've taken it. They've stolen it in fraud and treason by declaring that there is no imperial crown authority anymore. It's too old. The documents are outdated. You can only have a trust document for 125 years. Fuck off, you idiot. It becomes renewed at every birth of every child that takes on, it is their inalienable right. Therefore, it is in perpetuity forever by perpetual motion.
Yeah.
You do, all you need to do is stand up in court and go, right, who you brought here? This is the vessel, the birth certificate. My name is. Do not use the surname, ever. Right? Because it's nonsense. This is how they've deceived you. This is what they've deceived you in. Who gave you your surname? The state did.
State.
Who owns the surname?
They do.
The state. That's why they can now presume, under the presumption, it's you. Because you're accepting all the mail in the all caps, the mixed caps, the surname. We are administrative error document stating, no, you've contacted the wrong department. So they now state that this document doesn't exist. There it is, the Magna Carta. That's the original document. Do you want to scroll down, Cal?
Yeah.
Right, so to say that doesn't exist, it's very difficult to say that when it's in front of you. Right?
Yeah.
All of the Magna Chartas are perpetual and in perpetuity forever. Right? So is the Coronation Oaths Act. It cannot be changed. Not one word of the Coronation Oaths Act can be changed. Usurp or whatever, none of them. So for Parliament to admit they've committed treason and calling them acts and statutes is treason. They're not. They cannot be called acts and statutes. They cannot be repealed ever. Ever.
Yeah.
Okay? So, let's rebunk that nonsense for a start. Okay? So, let's go on to the next one's page.
Okay, and I think we had about the Crown Agents Limited.
Crown Agent. Yep. If you scroll down there, tells you the history, and it's somewhere down at the bottom. It says that they are
Insolvent.
insolvent. Yep. Insolvent. There you go. Right. So they're insolvent. So are they still trading? Are they still bringing people to court?
Yeah.
They're not. It's a lie. Right. So let's move on to the next one. There you go. It's there. There's no point hanging about on these because it tells you that that's it. Right. And there it is. The Crown Agents Act 1995 repealed. Right. It was repealed in 1997. So what does that mean in simple terms? There's no Crown authority within the courts. None. That is treason. The imperial crown cannot be removed from law. Parliament's done it.
Yeah.
Hey, look it up. I don't need to lie. It's all there. It tells you it was removed in 1997 to the Companies Act 1985. They're now working out the Companies Act 2006. Right? It's nonsense. You cannot remove a Crown agent from the courts. Simple as that. Because without the Crown agent, there is no what? No law. So the clerk now that says they're a clerk, you've just caught them in fraud. Because there's no clerks of the court. They're legal advisors for administrative purposes only. And are not there for law. So when they scream and shout, at you, say, who the fuck do you think you're speaking to? I'm the only sovereign crown within this court.
Yeah.
Do not open your mouth again. I am not a corporation. I am not the CP. I am not the person of significant control. Who the fuck do you think you're talking to? Get out of my court. This is a public building, not a private building. And you are acting as a private corporation, renting a court of law in a tolerable court, fake court, to deceive me in fraud by uttering high treason. Common law fraud never runs out of time. Yeah. Next document.
I think we have the police documents. Let me just.
Oh, yeah. That's the one. Right. While no law states police must accept being at case law, there it is. There's loads more. I should have sent you the other case law. You can see it's cut, it's sent off, Carly, so apologies for that, love. So I'll send you them all. But there it is. You can sue the police for harassment. You can sue them for not being under the Crown's authority.
And this is the thing with the hurty words, isn't it? The hurty word brigade, you know, unless you call it like a harm, injury, or loss under the law, you know, like it says here in this case law, you know, where's the harassment or the loss? You know, it's like if you swear at somebody, and the police or the policy officers are just mad for trying to do everybody for breach of the peace.
It brings in revenue.
Yeah,
You've got to understand is the police force now is a private corporation for revenue. This is why you don't see them. Yeah, this is why you hardly see them about. This is why they never walk the beat. And if they're on our roads, arrest them immediately under Section 24A of the Police and Crimes and Evidence Act for impersonating a police constable.
Yeah.
Right? They're not police constables. Oh, we work for the king. That'll be a laugh. There isn't one. He's the head of state, Leeds Lord. You're under an affirmation which breaches the Securities and Successions Act 1701.
Yeah. Yeah.
You are now impersonating an officer of the crown. The imperial crown. It doesn't mean that bauble that's sat on that fat-fingered Ponce's head.
You do have the best way with words, Robin. You're the only person who keeps me quiet for a long period of time. But yes, exactly.
We're not having it. People really need to start getting angry over this. They really need to understand the criminality that's just been smashed over us for 40 years, since 1973.
Yeah.
This was not to enter a commonwealth market. This was to remove your sovereignty, to remove your rights to make decisions above Parliament. And now, by their fraud and illegal conversion, using your surname, which they gave you, is a criminal act, using your birth certificate that they demand you use to get your identification for your personam.
Yeah.
Quasim. A vessel of corporate nature or a vessel of trust, so that they can enter you, rape you, pillage you, de facto you, without even your knowledge. you're stood there in a whirlwind. We've all been in court where we've gone, what the hell just happened? My evidence, the law states this, and they've just shot that to shit. How? Because we're stuck in the wrong jurisdiction.
Yeah.
They now compel us to conform by presumption of obligation, by being a PS, a person of significant control. We're owning a fucking company.
Yeah.
Or the trust, we've not got access to it. They have. The trust is a pot of crap.
And I've just got this document up, Robin, the 1701, an act for the further limitation of the crown and better securing the rights and liberties of the subject.
Yeah, that's the 1701 subject. That's when it gets them. If you look up that document, it tells you there, they cannot be under an affirmation.
Yeah.
An affirmation is treason. This was done literally 3 years after, so that they could stop what were coming in 1707. And what they did is they got people out of position that did not agree with them going incorporated, to try and get you back under the paper bulls of incorporation. So that's all the Vatican is.
Yeah.
It's incorporation. You're not under the rule of anything. It's a bank. Anybody who's delusional enough now to think that the church is a church, it isn't. It's a bank.
Yeah. They'll pour back and hold that. Yeah.
To reach your soul.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? They claim that they own your soul. Fuck off.
I love that. They're like proper northerners as well. It's like, yeah, get the fuck.
Right? So now we've got a right to Vatican stating as fact, you have not taken my soul. You don't hold my soul. What? That is what we've got to do because of the Bonfris of 1300 and something declared that they had now captured all souls.
Yeah. The first express trustee on the Plan ET, we called it, didn't they?
Yeah, right. What a load of nonsense. So now we write to the Vatican, telling them to go get stuffed. You don't own my soul. You are now found guilty of theft of my DNA, my placenta, my twin. I want compensation. You will now offer compensation or we will defrock you. End of.
It's the biggest criminal mafia going, isn't it? You know, that's it. It's just an absolute racket.
But all of they say they keep saying there's 13 families, there's 13 families. It's all the royal families of Europe and beyond, right?
Yeah.
They've literally kept everything for themselves. They've kept us in slavery by servitude because they've got used to the life. Now, they wanted, and this is where they've slipped up, and this is what people forget. When did we get schooling? Any kind of schooling. Right? You had to be a wealthy merchant of design to get your child into a private school in the 1800s. Then it was granted to the poor people to give them because they thought, oh, hang on a minute, this education bit's quite all right. Because all these educated yahoos are now going into clerk positions and shopkeeper positions that are generating mass taxes for us. Oh, yeah. Oh. Imagine if we did that for everybody. Let's give them mass reading and educate, the 3 R's. So we'll get them going on that. So we'll get them all reading, writing and arithmetic. And we'll see how we go. Right? So we'll do that. And then what happened? We got a bit smarter and a bit smarter and a bit smarter. They realised, hang on a minute, this could be a bit dangerous here. So this is why the Rothschilds fetched in the Educations Act, so that they control the education system. That's why it's crap now.
Yeah.
That's why there's no history. They don't teach you about the Romans. They don't teach you about the Vikings. They don't teach you about World War I, World War II, and what really happened.
Well, and that's it. And I always say, anything they're giving you for free, you are the product.
Yeah.
You know,
you are the clocking
brainwashing
monster that they want to create. Go in, clock in, go to work, 8 till 5, do overtime, do what we tell you to do, clock out, pay your tax, pay the bills, pay the this, that we all control, and we will give you threepence a week left. And be grateful that we're giving you that.
Yeah.
78% tax on your electric bill is outrageous.
I know.
And who's getting the benefit? Where's all these billions of pounds of investment going? Overseas. Other corporations. What? What happens when all these windmills blow down? When they're all rotten? We've got fields upon fields. It's just been disclosed now. There's fields of all these wind turbine props just left in the field because they're made of a substance that they cannot make green. Just can't do it. So they've literally unbolted them and stuck them in fields. There's thousands upon thousands of them.
It's just lunacy, isn't it? I mean, it's just.
And then you can't have them on when it's too windy. You can't have them on when it doesn't generate enough wind. Or it's costing us, and we have to then put power in them to keep them turning. Do me a favour. It's never going to work. Ever. And do you know what annoys me? Honestly, this is God's honest truth, right? If we use the waterways correctly in England, right, and set up stainless steel turbines in the water where we've got rapid running water. Now, I'm lucky in Wakefield where we live, we've got a couple of big weirs, right? So we can, and I mean, there's one where there's a church built into the rock at the bottom, and the weir stops a lot of the water, right? But coming up to that, there is a massive undercurrent. So you dip your 4 or 5 wheels across that part of the water there, and I pass that bridge every day I go to work, right, into Wakefield, right, because I only live round the corner from it. And literally, I swear to God, you could generate all the electricity Wakefield would need. Right? There's one there's one all over the country. You know what I mean? There's loads of them. Locks. Right?
Yeah.
Rivers. Inland waterways that are tidal. Coastal coming in, coming out. It turns the water wheels. We could generate enough electricity at a fraction of the cost, and it'd be ours. There was a program on. Just let me finish with this one. There was a program on in Scotland, and the Lord literally owned the village, right? But what he did was, one of his ancestors made a couple of wheels and then had a no bigger than like a mini engine, right? In this thing, and it combined everything, and it run all electricity through the house to every house in the village, right?
Yeah.
And because the water never stopped flowing, have a guess what they never run out of?
Electricity.
Right? So they had all electricity. How much do you think it cost them? For the whole village. The whole village paid £3,000 a year divided by the whole village to keep up the generator cost and the combined whatever repairs that they were needed.
Well,
right?
The debt system doesn't want that, does it? It doesn't want to free people in any way.
Right? So just imagine, people, if we locked up every waterway with clean stainless steel wheels to generate, how do you think they generated electricity in the old mills? What were they next
Yeah.
to? The rivers. What did they have on them? The big wheels. Yeah,
Big wheels.
exactly. Big wheels keep on turning, keep the lights on for everybody. Right? And how much do you think they would cost? I would think about the third of a price of what we're being charged for to generate wind turbines that have no longevity and no appeal.
Yeah, nobody wanted those things, you know. And the wokey lefties who think climate change is real are severely deluded. But yeah, I mean, and that's not even getting to the fact that we know there's free energy. There always has been, but that's been hidden from us as well.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, to top up the free energy, right? If we put on, we could be then become one of Europe's biggest electricity salespeople. So instead of us pulling it from fucking Europe at peak times, we could be sending it back.
And obviously, we do need numbers, don't we? I mean, please do join the realm. We've made it as accessible as possible, isn't it? It's £10, 10p. We need numbers. We've got the answers. The remedy's in. It's all there. But people need to be armed with the correct information instead of like blindly going down to London, like you say, on a Saturday and jumping up and down with the pants around their ankles. No offence, guys, if you went, but you know, it's like you say, it's just a nice day out. And if even just a fraction of that money could be put into a pot to do something actually productive, you know, with bringing the system down. I mean, I believe the system's going down itself, but we still have to keep cracking at it. That's right action, isn't it?
Well, look, I mean, America's leading the charge on this, right? And the point is now, we have to do the same. Because what we have to do is, and this is where I'm going to get a bit sort of antsy and probably a little bit pissed with people. Because if you followed the issues of idiots not paying your mortgages, stop being dickheads, right? Yes, they're fraud. Yes, I agree. But there's a way to do it with clean hands, because if you go to any court in England, even their admiralty courts, and claim equity, you must do it in clean hands. You cannot declare that they've committed fraud if you've stopped paying your mortgage.
Yeah.
So what you do is you ask for 10 or 15 items. You want the two documents. Have they separated at any point? Have they sold one of the promissory notes to SPV? What account did they pay the money? Why was the account? When did the money hit your account? Because if you've loaned the money, it should be put into your account. What happened to the printed money from the commercial banks? Where did the commercial bank get that money from? Right, these are just some of the quick questions that you should be asking the bank, right? What interest have you charged me due to the fact that you didn't lend me the money? You can only charge me interest if I loan money from your pot. So you will now show me the ledgers. If you fail to do so within 28 days, I'm now going to reduce my mortgage payment to £100 a month until this is rectified. I'm giving you full, clear transparency with clean hands.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't advise anybody to stop paying the mortgage unless they're really confident with the process and equity, etc.
Yeah, so now you can literally get them and say, you can go to equity court now. You can put them in there. So you're now the claimant. Don't go in as the fucking defendant. Put it straight into equity court that you're now claiming that your mortgage was fraudulent from the start. And here's why. Because you were illegally converted by the solicitor into a quasim. They've taken the money from your vessel trust and then lent you the money. Created it from nothing, just printed it off, and now claiming that you owe money. Well, I don't owe anything. If you've just printed it off, you've put nothing in my account. Why have I paid you all this interest? So we've got to, and then you've sold it by SPV for 20 to 30% more. So if you've got a £200,000 mortgage, they've just made 60 grand. So if they keep 10% of that 60 grand, that's 6 grand, that's 54 grand off your mortgage. So now you owe 144,000. So if they've sold the other part of your mortgage, again, 20, 30%, they've now got half their mortgage back, and they've got no loss because they've already been paid. They've been paid in full for the mortgage.
And you repay it, you pay it again. Means again. You
Right?
pay it again.
So if they've been paid for the mortgage, they don't own the mortgage. The mortgage is being paid through their fraud, not yours, because you've not given them a side of a deed of novation or a deed of assignment to allow them to sell your mortgage.
Yeah.
And the mortgage contract you've signed,
the bank's just the agent, yeah.
Yeah, but the mortgage you've signed isn't a mortgage, it's a promissory note that they've sold.
Yeah.
So unless they can produce that, there is no mortgage. Therefore, they now have to take off all claim to your property because you've just caught them out. Exactly. But they won't do that because the land registry is part of the United Corporation.
Well, exactly. And then the bank doesn't even have the charge on the bank that you think you're paying don't even have the charge on the land registry. Even they say they do. They sold it.
Well, no, they do. They own the charge because what they put back in there, they can buy that back at any point. Right? They can buy the mortgage deed back at any point. So the fact is that, okay, well, you can buy it back. That's great for you. But you've told me that you're lending me the money from your pot. So you're charging me interest that you've not paid. So now I want all my interest back. And if you've had a mortgage for 10 or 12 years, that interest pays your mortgage off. So now you go to court and say, well, I want all my interest payments back. I want 90% of the SPV, because I didn't agree for them to sell it. I want compensation. So now I want to pay the mortgage off in full with the money I've already paid, so I keep in clean hands. The equity judge is then going to panic because you've given them several opportunities to cure. Right? So think cleverer, think smarter, put it on the bank's toes. We've already been told how you've done it. Send a Freedom of Information request to the Bank of England. You will now tell us where our SPVs are. There are certain companies that can find who owns your SPV. Once you go into court with that, the bank has no leverage, none. And this is now what they're realising, but nor does the solicitor. So you now bring in the solicitor as the second respondent because he has, by the devil's handbook and the illegal conversion of the man into a quasim corporation, because a corporation can only lend to a corporation. With their acts and statutes, they say, no, it gets too complicated than that. We won't be able to do any business. Well, no, that's the whole point of it. That's the whole point of being law and statutory. Statutory is corporate. Law is for the people. The separation of powers. Because no corporation can lend it to a man. That's how they've had to bring in the quasim. Yeah. The corporate fiction. The administrative document of Parliament. The King. I know I'm boring you. I know you've heard it millions of times before.
I'm sure it's extremely interesting for our viewers, Robin. And I'm always learning every day's a school day. But yeah, obviously I've studied mortgages and mortgage fraud and the rest of it. But in equity, yeah, like you say, it works in a different way. And chancery is where you bring in the living man or woman.
Yeah.
But
And
on that
this is
note,
why
I
you've
guess
got to
we'll
do it on that. And we're done.
tie it.
Yeah, you've got to tie it up nice and neat in a bow. They've not rebutted this, they've not redone that, done it through affidavit, done it through DSAR, done it through a DSA, freedom of information, send them off in different envelopes at the same time. So you've got them on the ropes from the beginning. Then you can declare fraud ab initio, bring in case law, bring in the fact that there's no money, and there was never no value. They've never put anything into your account.
Well, there's no consideration, is there? Yeah.
No. Therefore, the meeting of the minds is void.
It's void. And also, they don't give you a standalone power of attorney. They write it into the contract. So that should be a standalone lawful document, but it never is. So again, there's so much that goes on with mortgages, as we know. But Robin, we'll tie it up there because the evidence is in. Thank you so much again for coming and enlightening us. And is there anything you want to close on? I mean, please, like I say, do go and support Robin and the Realm of England. It's all in there for people to.
The only one thing I want to sort of end on is this. If you're on the electoral roll, get it off it. Because the electoral roll is the biggest con of all. The electoral roll is there, it states that you can vote for free. Well, it doesn't now. They've converted that into that you are the quasim and you are liable for the state's debts.
Yeah.
And you don't vote. Simple as that. So get off it. And anybody that comes out and says, get on the electoral roll is potentially one, either is a lunatic, or two, is a shill. Because if you're on it, you are liable for the state's debts. And you are part of the state corporation, whether you like it or not. Because the one thing they fear is if we send all our documents back.
Yeah.
Off. We're not having it. We now demand our real passports, our real transport documents in English, not in British.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
And do it, we shall. And come and join us and do it with us at the Realm of England.
Definitely. I mean,
I'll put the links below.
Yep. I'll let you do that, Carl. But the documents are on there. The documents are on there to get yourself off the electoral register, and they're hating it because they're that powerful. We've had people literally come on and tell me and ring me directly and basically say, we've been trying for months to get off. We've downloaded your documentation, and they've had to remove us.
Yeah.
They've had to remove us off both systems. Be very careful. There's two systems. There's the front and the back. Make sure you get off both. Okay? That's it, guys. Peace and love. I'm out of here.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for watching, and we'll update you soon. Thank you, Robin, again, and we will see you next time.